Hello, Namaste. I am Nikhil Khadkar. A warm welcome to Smart Solutions, where we mold and strengthen youth for academic and national prosperity. Hello, friends. So today, let us begin with the mathematics session for standard 9th. So let us begin with mathematics. So for standard 9th, you have got two parts of mathematics, that is part 1 and part 2. So first we will be beginning with our part 1. So let us first look into what are the contents of part 1 in your mathematics for standard 9th. So the contents for maths are as follows. What we will do is we will just put down the list of chapters that you are supposed to learn in your standard 9th maths part 1, and as we go through these chapters we will introduce you and we will study in deep what are the contents and all that. So now let me just put down the list of chapters before you so that you will have a general idea of what actually is the curriculum. So the first chapter we have is of sets. Second chapter is real numbers. Second chapter is real numbers. Third chapter we have polynomials. Then next chapter, that is chapter 4th, we have ratio and proportions. Then 5th chapter we have linear equations in two variables. Linear equations in two variables. 6th chapter is financial planning. Financial planning. And the 7th and the last chapter of part 1 is statistics. So this is the curriculum for your maths 1. So today we will be beginning with our first chapter, that is chapter 1, sets. So let us begin with the first chapter. So our first chapter is sets. So let us begin with our first chapter. So before starting into the actual definition or the mathematics involved in sets, let us first understand that why we need to study sets and what are the applications of this chapter or this concept in our real life. So let us look at some of the applications where we could apply this theory in our real life problems or in our real life. So applications of set theory in real life. Okay, so here I have discussed, or I am going to discuss, three major applications which are from very diversified fields, so that you will understand what is the vastness and how various problems can be tackled using set theory. So let us look at the first example, or first application rather. So I am putting before you the first application of set theory. So here what I have done is I have considered the problem of corona pandemic which we are facing nowadays, and there are many talks about corona, that if you have got high immunity you will not be caught up by corona, and so on and so forth. So as we know overall what corona is, how it is caused, how to take precautions, and how to get cured. So with this theory, let us try to apply, or let us try to use set theory in modeling initially the concept of corona, and how this set theory can be helpful in solving the problem of corona or understanding the corona in deep. So let us look at the example that we have chosen to understand. So we have stated here statement, that is to determine the age group of people who are more prone to be caught or affected by corona. So what do we mean here is that, as we all know that if you have got high immunity you will not be caught up by corona, and so let us say that at an early age, that is say below 25 years of age or below 30 years of age, you have very high immunity, and above 30 your immunity starts, say for example, reducing, or it is less as compared to 25 age. So what we are trying to determine is, we are going to understand, or we want to find out that what is the age where you will not be caught by corona or you will be caught by corona. So that is the first thing that we will be understanding by our first statement. So the second statement is to determine the age group of people who recover from corona. So as we all know that the people affected by corona also get recovered. So we want to find out the age group which is, say for example, recovering 90% or which has got high recovery rate. So which age group has got high recovery rate, that we can find. And the third is there any similarity or difference between above two results if we consider male and female, that is sex, as a factor. So in the above two examples we have not talked separately of whether the age group in which we are talking about belongs to male or female. Also in second case we have not talked about whether the age group we are talking of the people who are recovering from corona is male or female. But now if we consider separately, that is once for male and once for female, for both the cases 1 and 2, then what are our results? What is the age group and what is the percentage of, say, affected by corona, and also what is the percentage of recovering from corona in case of male and female? If you consider separately, what are these percentage and how do they vary? So that we can understand from this problem using set theory. We will be dealing with these problems once we are done totally with the set theory, but this is the major application where you can apply set theory and to get some important information from your everyday problems. So let us look at the second problem, that is practical problem. So we have considered here the problem of modeling results of standard 8th. So what we are going to do here is, as you all know that you have passed your 8th standard and you have got some grades or say some percentage. So let us try to formulate your marks in the form of set theory, or how set theory could help us in doing that. So for that to be done, initially we have to formulate a problem, that is we have to define or we have to make a problem, and the problem statements that we have made are to determine the number of students who at least secured distinction. So what does it mean? It means that, say for example, if you had 100 students, then out of that 100 students, how many students passed with at least distinction? So as we move forward in more details, you will understand the importance of these words like at least and so on. So we will be discussing that laterally, but you just have some idea of how to formulate the problems. So the second statement we have considered is to determine number of students who at least secured first class. So we are saying of the students now who secured first class. In the third statement, what we want to say is to determine number of students who at least passed with second class. Okay, so first we have considered students who secured at least distinction, then first class, and now we are talking of students who at least passed with second class. And the last statement is to determine number of students who passed standard 8th. So this is one of the problem that we were able to formulate. So you can take number of such problems from your daily life and you can formulate, and in coming days we will try to understand or we will try to apply whatever we will be learning to solve such problems. That is the aim of your chapter sets. So this was a bit easier problem, or rather easier application of set. So let us look at the third application, which is very different, and that will give you the sense or the idea how set theory is applicable to a very diversified field. So our third practical problem is revenge from China. So why we have taken this problem? So as you all know that on our India-China border, there has been conflicts between Indian and Chinese army. Many of our soldiers were killed by Chinese army, and so we all are very much angry now. Okay, and we want to take revenge, or we want to throw back Chinese. So how do we do that? So now let us look at what are the options available with us, or how we can tackle this problem and come up with the very best solution to take revenge from China. So first of all, we have by military action. So what we believe is by military action is that we will have war with China, directly have war with China by our armed forces, that is Army, Navy and Air Force. The second option we have is by economic war, that is to boycott Chinese products. So in this, what we can do is we will start boycotting these products, that is we will not be using Chinese products, we will throw them, or we will not prefer them in our markets. But do you think that it is possible to stop using Chinese products at this instance, or at the time that we think of, and to stop 100%? No, it is not possible at one time. So there are a number of steps, that what is our dependence, are we capable of producing that product, and so on and so forth. So that all study you have to do step by step to come up to some conclusion, and you have to decide certain period that by this time I will be boycotting this much amount, or say this much quantity of Chinese products. So this all comes under your observation in boycotting Chinese products. So the third option we have got is by changing our foreign policies, that till the date how we were behaving with our neighbors, or say foreign countries. So we have to change our way of behavior. So this was something, a very different problem that we have considered, and we can use set theory to to apply to such problems and to come up with very good results. So these were some of the applications where set theory is of very much importance and can be used efficiently. So now you have understood that what are the uses of set theory. So now let us begin with actually what set theory is. So now we are done with the applications of set theory in real life. So now let us begin with the introduction of set theory. So introduction to sets. So let us take some examples. So for example, we have a bunch of keys. That is our example number 1. The second example, say we have group of strong people, and the third example is, say, a collection of coins. So with these three examples, let us try to understand which group or which thing can be called as sets. So basically a set means collection of something, okay, but can every collection can be called as set or not? So let us verify it. So we have taken first example of a bunch of keys, okay. So we have keys and they are in bunch. So key is an object and it is a bunch. So we have what we have object which is in bunch, means which is in a large quantity. Is there any other property of keys, or is there any property required to define keys in more details? No. So we have got almost all information of this group, that is a bunch, which is a bunch of keys. So this is an example of set, or the bunch of key can be called as a set. Now look at the second example. We have a group of strong people, okay. So what do we mean by strong here? For example, say for me, strong means if a man can lift a weight of say 100 kgs, he is strong for me. But for you the definition may be different. For you the definition may be if a man falls from 3-story building and he don't get injured, that is strong. So here my definition of strong and your definition of strong is not the same, they are different. So because of this conflict between my definition and your definition, it is not possible to state, or it is not possible to completely define what strong means with respect to people. It is a group, that is okay, it is a group, but we are not able to properly define what strong means. So this is not an example of set, or it is not an example of set. So from these two examples you can note down, or you can note that whenever you have an object, so this is an object or an element, you can say. Also here strong people is object, not only people but strong people is object. And in example number 1, object was keys and you were able to clearly define it. You were able to clearly define. So when object is clearly defined, that group is called as sets. In second example, as you can see, when object is not clearly defined, here we were unable to clearly define or clearly characterize. So when object is not clearly defined, then it is not an example of set, that is, it doesn't come under set. So look at the example number 3, a collection of coins. So coins is very well defined, that is, coins are nothing but rupees that we use in our day-to-day life. So for example, say you have got collection of say 100 coins of various rupees or various values. Say for example, you have 1 rupee coin, 2 rupee coin, 3 rupee coin, 10 rupees coin, not only of Indian currency, maybe they could be of other currency, but you have got a collection of coins and this is well defined. So this example 3 is an example of sets. So let us try to write down the definition of sets. So now we will define set. Set and its definition. So if you can once again have a look at the previous examples that we have considered, what we have said here is that if there is a group of objects and if that objects are clearly defined, that is, we can define their characteristics or property clearly, then that group of objects can be called as a set. So let us write it down. A set is a group of what? Group of objects. We can clearly define. Okay, so a set is a group of objects we can clearly define. We all know that there could be a large number of group of objects, and when we say that we can clearly define them, so what does it actually mean? So by we can clearly define it, it means that a group can have a large number of characteristics. For example, if you consider a box and in box there are say a number of balls, so there could be some white balls or red balls. So saying that a box contains red balls, then this is actually the definition of characteristic, or this is actually the characteristics of ball, that it is of red color. So next example, if you consider say that there is a group of animals and among them are some domestic animals. So the domestic is the characteristics of some special group that you are talking about, and that is the characteristic which is well defined. So that will become a set of domestic animals. So we can also say that, or we can also write that a group of objects So objects can also be called as elements. So it is a group of elements whose property, or we can say characteristics, and what characteristics or properties we have talked about, like say color, or say length, or it could be some number, etc. All such properties we can clearly define. So a group of objects whose properties or characteristics can be clearly defined. And what is this called? This is called as set. Okay, so I think this makes more sense to you. So let us look at the example that we just talked about. Example, say for example, if you have a box and there are say some balls, okay, among these balls, say some are black balls. I am coloring some of them. And now when you say that this is a box and it has got some black balls, then you have one group of balls which are say only black. So you can say that a group of black balls. So now this is actually a set, because among all the balls there are some black balls. There could be an other group, that is a group of white balls. So this is your second group, and this can also be called as set. Okay, so now once we know what actually set is, so let us look at how to write or how to represent this set, and that we will continue in the next lecture. Thank you. Admissions are currently open for academic year 2020-21. For all further information and for your queries, you can contact us on the number shown on your screen. And finally, I would say that to complete your education with flying colors, join Smart Solutions today. Thank you.